Hi, this is the second video in a series on Modern Energy Cooking Services program. If you're watching it, you're probably engaged with the program in some shape or form, maybe a partner, maybe a new member of the team. So, we started to, the world generally started to talk about that the strategy or the business as usual approach to the enduring problem of cooking with biomass, polluting fuels, was not keeping pace with population growth, and it wasn't really tackling the core of the problems. In addition to that, over the last 2 or 3 years, there is of course an increasing emphasis on climate change, and so there's a question of how does all this affect climate change. In these videos, I won't go into the details there. I'm just trying to give you a very broad sketch of the whole program. So we talk about business unusual or not doing business as usual, and it may seem strange to you, but within our program that is called Cooking, we don't do anything biomass. In order to change that narrative, in order to actually move it from here to here, biomass is out of scope. Having said that, there are a couple of exceptions. The program does include LPG. In the first video, I talked mainly about the electricity question, and electricity is really important to us, and I would be on fairly safe ground to say that electricity was the driving force, well, excuse the pun, behind the formulation of the whole UK aid funded MECS program. However, in the business case, as we developed it, we included LPG because LPG does have many characteristics, similar characteristics. It does count as modern energy. It does give near zero emissions, not quite zero emissions. Of course, on the climate change question, it's not that great, but a lot of people will argue that actually LPG is a byproduct of many of the oil processes, and therefore is not really, if we didn't cook with it, it would still be flared off. It also is a technology that is available now, right now. You can go out, buy a gas stove, buy an LPG cylinder. It has some challenges in terms of the capex, the affordability of the cylinder and the cook stove, and that's why some people don't pick up on it, particularly the very poor. It also has challenges with the supply chain. We think that there is a differentiation between LPG and electricity, and particularly electricity from renewable energy sources, decentralized, has fantastic potential for reaching a wide range of people. But let's not jump to solutions and conclusions yet. The program is a research program which is looking at the innovation around these modern energy cooking services to see what are the best approaches, what are the approaches that are going to go to scale, what are the approaches that are going to get traction. Within scope also is biogas, partly because we put LPG in there. We also ended up putting biogas in there, so that is biomass in just another shape or form. Biogas is one of these deep mystery technologies where on paper it has so many good features. You're taking a waste product, you're turning it into a usable gas, and actually at the end of it the waste product is more usable as a fertilizer for fields, etc. But it has had a very, very mixed experience over the last 30 to 40 years. I mean, I cooked with biogas in Cambodia for 3 years, and I could keep my biogas digester running, but actually at scale it has had some problems. There may be some innovative new approaches to biogas, and we certainly will be happy to explore that. And also the other weird one, not weird, but slightly off center, off piste, is ethanol. Ethanol does, of course, again cook with a clean cooking experience, and there are approaches to generating ethanol for cooking that doesn't take away from the food chain, and does, in fact, there are some approaches with water hyacinth which breaks down the cellulose and holds potential for actually solving a problem such as that found in Lake Victoria. So the program itself, it focuses on modern energy, but excludes biomass. It excludes solid biomass, we should say, even briquettes. And that is one that we often get challenged on. Why aren't you including briquettes? And our answer is that we're trying to force a change in narrative. We're not saying that briquettes are not a viable cooking system. They can be combusted in such a way in tier 4 stoves that they give virtually no emissions, and they can be provided in a sustainable biomass chain. What we're saying is that within our program we're not going to tackle them. So we're not saying that they're wrong, we're just saying that we have limited resources and a limited agenda, and so over here we're going to focus on modern energy. I just want to add into this video that we talk about modern energy cooking services, and the reason we've added the word services is because we don't know what the business model will look like. There are possibilities that this is not a purchase of an appliance or even a purchase of a solar home system. So you probably know that there are pay-as-you-go solar systems. Mini grid developers might actually put in a mini grid, and then to increase the load they may offer people free appliances, and it becomes a payment through the tariff, through the payment on the tariff. We could even imagine that utilities might get to the point where they could be distributing subsidised or free appliances in order to increase the use of electricity, in order to get revenue. So the idea of services, it just takes us away from purchasing of appliances. And of course the biomass cooking sector has had a real problem with getting people to stomp up the capital expenditure, the initial capital expenditure for the improved cook stove. There are of course microcredit schemes, and there are all sorts of ways around that. And so the word services is meant to encompass that. It may not be pay as you go until you've paid it off. It may actually be pay forever. If we look back far enough, people in Britain used to rent their televisions rather than pay for them. So, you know, and increasingly, you know, you see Microsoft now offering Office on a rental basis rather than own the software yourself. So it's not that the world is rejecting the rental or the hire purchase models. In fact, if anything, they're becoming slightly more popular. So modern energy cooking services is the name of the program, and every word is important.